Good morning, everyone. My name is Don Daniel, founder of P.I.L.L Method International. Today is Wednesday, December 20, and I need you to understand that the P.I.L.L Method and AI are working together to save you money. P.I.L.L stands for prepayment of principal, isolating the principal amount, leverage, and liquidity. When you understand these four banking principles, you can then save a lot of money. So for years and years and years, we've been paying too much to borrow money. And it is possible to cut your interest cost by 75 to 80%. If you are a real estate investor, please stop overlooking this. You're leaving literally millions of dollars on the table. What does that mean? All the extra interest you pay that you don't need to pay on your properties. Do you realize over time you don't have that money to invest? So if you don't have that money to invest, then you're losing that money for the future as well. And it amounts to the millions. So it's not just the extra interest you're paying. Oh my gosh, it's not just that. And listen, and even that's criminal enough. So if you want to know what we're doing today, you want to be able to see what we're talking about when it comes to this kind of thing, when it comes to people saying, listen, you should do this or you shouldn't do that. Make them show you the numbers. So today we're actually going to show you the numbers. I'm copying the link here for my YouTube channel, and we're going to paste it in the chat this morning. And while I'm doing that, let's just say good morning to everybody. Good morning, everybody. I've got some folks online already. If you want to see what we're doing, bring up your extra your telephone, your extra phone, a tablet or a laptop, whatever you have to do. Watch these numbers as we put them up on the screen. And we're also going to highlight the AI system, the opportunity cost calculator, as we look at multiple properties. I'm going to put a situation together where we're going to look at 10 properties, 11 mortgages, and we're going to see how we can save money without impeding the ability to invest immediately. You can kill interest now and still invest in the future. Oh my gosh. I mean, it's a double whammy when you take a look at it. So if you want to come to the stage here in Clubhouse, if you're here in Clubhouse, come up to the stage. That helps to invite other people in. And if you want to see the numbers, which is really important, make people show you the numbers. All right. Make them show you the numbers. Then you need to come over to our YouTube channel. And I'm going to go over some basics before we jump into the heavy stuff with actually looking at several mortgages and learning how to optimize equity growth at a minimized interest cost. Equity growth, we're maximizing equity growth, and we're compressing the time that you can grow that equity. And we're saving money while we do it. So let's just take a look at, I'm going to put on the screen right now, just one mortgage so that we can go over some of the basics. All right. And let me see, let me share this screen here. There we go. And there we are. We're sharing that screen and we've got it. There it is. Okay, we're going to add that. There we are. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to put in a 400. No. We're going to put in a $200,000 property, and we're going to put it in at 7%. Interest rates are dropping, by the way. Interest rates are dropping. So make sure that you're putting your deals in at the right interest rate for you. All right. So we're going to take a look at this loan. We're going to learn some of the basics, that real estate investors have overlooked for years. All right. So this deal is a $200,000 mortgage. The payment on this for 30 years is 1330.60. Now, this real estate investor is renting this thing outright. Let's just say they're making anywhere from $500 to $1,000 cash flow on this because of the rent in their area. So it is making money. It is making money. But here's what's happening. After the tenant or tenants, if it's a multifamily, after the tenant or tenants pay the rent, here's what they're looking at. The investor has to pay the mortgage. Okay? And remember, the payment on this is $1,166.67. So, but if I'm cash flowing $500 to $1,000, traditionally, investors have been taught to ignore the fact that they have to pay the mortgage on that. What's being taught is that the tenants are paying your mortgage. You get to keep the $500,000. You get to keep the $500. You get to keep the $1,000 after the bills are paid. All right. And that's what we've been focusing on. And that's where that's what brings a smile to our face. I want to bring a bigger smile to your face. I want to show you how to make even more money and increase your profits. Okay. So eventually, what comes into play is your equity in this property. How much is the property worth and how much do you owe on it? All right. And if you can increase the amount that it's worth and decrease the amount of money that you owe on it, then you're looking at a profit when you look to sell it in the future. Okay. You'll look to sell it in the future. Or if you're not looking to sell it in the future right away, here's what you may want to do. Keep in mind that you can accelerate your equity growth so that you can refi the property sooner, take cash out, and then reinvest that in other properties. Oh my gosh. I mean, 10 to 15 years sooner. What would that mean to you as a real estate investor? What would that mean to you to be able to cash out much sooner, take your cash out, and know that it didn't cost you as much interest as it used to? We're going to point that out right now. Let's take a look at understanding interest cost first as we look at this mortgage, okay? Let's take a look at this. In the first year on this mortgage, as we're paying this thing down, all right? Remember, we've got renters in here and we're making money. But in the first year, only $2,000 of the rent that you're taking in has paid the mortgage down, while $13,935.65 of your money. You see, once that money hits your hand, once that money hits your bank, that money is now your money. It is no longer your tenant's money. The tenant has given you the money, and now you have to pay your mortgage out of that money. So when you receive the money, it is now your money. How much of your money in the first year has paid interest on this loan? $13,935. That's the first year. Look at the second year. $4,200 goes to pay down the loan. $27,700 of your money has gone to interest. Oh man, you need to see this. If you're not looking at this, if you're not seeing this, you actually need to see this. And if you're watching us online, all right, let me say good morning to everybody who's online, okay? Good morning to you, okay? All right, listen, and we're getting prepared for the holidays as well. All right, start inviting some people in here, because if you're a real estate investor or you know a real estate investor, they need to see these numbers. All right, 3 years in, this loan has only been paid down by $6,500, but $41,000 has gone to interest. Here's how I need you to look at this. There's a cost to borrowing money, and there's a cost to growing your equity. All right. First, good morning. Somebody's watching us from X this morning. First Lady Siba Chavez, thank you so much for being here. Good morning to you. All right. So listen, if you're a real estate investor, you need to know this. Just 3 years in, at a 7% mortgage, although you're making money, you've only paid the loan down by $6,500, but it costs $41,000 in interest to do that. Here's what you need to understand. That $6,500 is potential equity. You're growing your equity. But real estate investors need to start paying attention to their interest cost, what it costs to grow this equity. $41,000 is just way too much money. Now, let me point out to you the reason why every real estate investor I've ever talked to has overlooked this fact, because they don't have an easy way to add up all of their interest cost. They have a way to figure out how to count their cash flow. Oh, definitely. Listen, we know how to count cash flow, don't we, ladies and gentlemen? We can count that cash flow. But what we also need to do is learn how to, focus on looking at all of our costs, not just the electricity, not just the taxes, not just the repairs and the maintenance, but all of our costs. The cost of borrowing money has been overlooked for way too long. So here's what we're doing: $41,000 in interest. Let me go back up to the top here. Let me show you something that's very important to see. I use an amortization schedule that was created by a guy named Brett Whistle. I'm going to put that in the chat for you, so that you can do some of this on your own. The reason why I use Brett Whistle is this. Okay. All right. Let's see here. All right. Let me get that off. I gotta get that off. All right. So let me reduce that. All right, great. So now I've got Brett Whistle on here. And oh no, what did I do with my loan? What did I do with it? All right. This is the example I'm going to show later. But let me bring Brett Whistle up on this. Okay. We got $200,000 at 7%. Okay, let's do it again at 7%. There we go. And calculate. All right. So we've got him there. We're going to get rid of this advertising because it's distracting to me. We're going to get rid of that. Okay. So now I need to show you what is important here. Do you see these two columns? Cumulative principal and cumulative interest. Let me put the things in here in the let me see here. I need to copy this so that you can go to Brett Whistle yourself. So we're going to copy that and I'm going to paste it here. There it is. That's for the people that are watching us online. And for the folks that are listening to us on Clubhouse, I'm going to put it in the chat as well. So play around with this thing so that you can start learning how important it is to start paying attention to how much it costs to borrow your money. And we're going to learn what we can do about it. Okay. So cumulative principal and cumulative interest. I like this because it adds those two columns. Every other amortization schedule you can come up with online, most, like 99% of them, are only going to give you principal, interest, and principal balance. It is important for you to know at any given moment how much interest you've paid as we add it up. We can get so used to making the payment, right, everybody? We can get so used to making the payment and making the money. We're not looking at how much it costs. We're looking at, here's the payment, here's how much money I'm making, and whatever I have to spend to make that money is just the cost of doing business, right? What if we can lower the cost of doing business? That's what we're here. This is what we're about today. All right. So put your questions in the chat. All right. Oh, by the way, for everybody that's watching us online, new format coming next year. You'll be able to come on YouTube with us. You'll be able to come on the show live with us to voice your opinions and ask your questions and interact with us live right here on the show. Oh my gosh, we're going to be doing that next year. We're starting that in January. So all of you that are watching us online right now, if you want, we're going to send you a link and you'll be able to jump on here with us live to interact. Okay. So, but in the meantime, just go ahead and put your questions in the comment section if you have any. Okay. So we have, when we can add this up after 1 year, we can see how much interest we will have paid in 1 year because it adds up all the interest column for you. Isn't that great? All the interest column is added up. That's 1 year. That's 2 years. Here's 3 years, 4 years. Let's stop at 5 years because it starts to get depressing after that. Even though you're making money all 5 years, made money on this one property. This is what it costs to manage the debt, though. You paid this down by $11,736 in 5 years. But look how much interest you've paid in 5 years. $68,099.54. Can I show you something? Now, you might not do it exactly this way, but let me show you how you can get rid of this interest easily. All right? So we're going to go back to payment number 1. We're going to do some basics here. This is called prepayment of principal. But when you prepay principal, we just don't know how much interest we're saving. But we're going to show you that you can save a ton with a little bit of money. So in the very first payment, let's say our payment is January, $163.93 goes to principal. Look how much goes to interest, $1,166.67 of your payment. That is a lot of money. All right. We got William just came in. William, if you want to come to the stage, please raise your hand. Come to the stage. We need to get some more people in here. I'm trying to entice people in Clubhouse to come to the stage, even if you don't say anything. But when you put your presence on the stage, it actually attracts more people into the room. So help me out here. Raise your hand. Come to the stage. We'll bring you up. Okay. So here's what we got. So we've got we made our first payment in January, and now we can see February's payment here. But guess what? If we make January's payment, I can see February's principal payment is $164.89. But I don't have to wait till February to give that to the bank. You see, I don't have to wait. What I can do is this. I can make my payment in January. And what if I decided I wanted to pay the $164.89 early? I'm going to give it to the bank in January as well. Doesn't matter what day. I'm just going to give it at this point. It does matter after a while, but at this point of the conversation, if you get it to the bank or your mortgage company before the next month, that's called a prepayment. Once you've made your regular payment and you give the bank any amount of money before the next payment is due, that's called a prepayment. And all of this money, if you decide you want to prepay exactly $164.89 on this mortgage, then this number is subtracted from what you owe immediately, because anytime you prepay, none of that money goes to interest. $0. $0 goes to interest. So they're going to subtract the $163.93 from the $200,000 that you owe, and we're going to get this. Good morning, Mr. Ray. Well, it's S. Ray, so I'm going to say good morning, S. Because I don't know if it's male or female, but good morning to you. Thank you for being here. And they're watching us on YouTube. Okay. So now, if we subtract that, we're paid down to here in January in the first month. Okay. In 1 month, we're We're paid down to there. Now, guess what just happened? Our next mortgage payment for February is now on line 3. The payment for March actually moves up one. What do you mean moves up one? You just eliminated line 2 from the amortization schedule with just $164.89. It's gone. It's been eliminated along with the interest that the bank was looking for, $1,165.71. The interest you would have had to pay to give the bank $164.89, you no longer have to pay. You save that money. Now, there are a lot of investors out there that would disagree with that, but the math is true. Make them show you the math. I'm showing you the math. Okay. It's no doubt, there's no doubt in anybody's mind. If I make a mortgage payment for 12 whole months, I got to give the bank this much interest every single month. 1,166.67, then 1,165.71, then 1,164.75, and onward. If I do this for an entire year, I have to give them all of this money, which adds up to $13,935.65. So it costs interest to move the loan by this much money each month. But what if we accelerate moving the loan by more money? You see, we get charged interest on what we owe. If you don't owe it, you don't have to pay it. Keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't owe it, you don't have to pay it. So let's get down to here. Now, I promise you, we will get to how we can optimize interest savings on multiple properties, but we have to learn the basics first. So bear with me here. Bear with me a few minutes. Let's figure out for the first time, some of you are seeing this, how does the bank charge us interest and it becomes so expensive when it is just 7%? You see, it says 7%, but the bank wants $279,016 in interest on a $200,000 loan. That's a total paid back of $479,000. So how is it 7% of $200,000 when I'm actually paying more in interest than the money that I borrowed? So the 7% turns into this. Total interest paid as a percentage of principal, 139.5%. Man, 139.5%. That's what this real estate investor is actually paying. And I'm telling you, they don't have to pay all of that. All right? They don't have to pay all of that. So if we do this, let's say we make our mortgage payment, and now we're going to get a little fancy with this thing. Okay? We're going to give the bank $164.89 early. We're going to give the bank 3 principal payments early: 164, 165, and 166. We're going to give those 3 to the bank early because out of all the rents that we're bringing in, we're setting aside some money for repairs and maintenance, and it's just sitting in the bank waiting for something to go wrong. Well, what if you have several $1,000s in the bank at this point? Several $1,000s just sitting there in an account making 0.1%, not making hardly any money. And that's if you have it in a savings account. Okay. Well, look at this. We're going to make our regular payment. We're going to give the bank these 3 principal payments on top of our regular payment. And we're going to eliminate line 2, line 3, and line 4, and the interest on that. Over $3,400 in interest, $3,400 in interest gone that you never have to pay because you gave the bank early 164, 165, and 166. Real estate investors, you need to know this right now because You have money sitting in the bank making 1/10 of 1%. I'm going to show you how the bank makes their money, and then I'm going to show you how much money you can make by understanding it. Okay, so we're going to put our calculator back on the screen. The bank takes that 7% interest and divides it by 12. That's 0.07 divided by 12 equals this number here, 0.0058 and a bunch of threes after it. That's the number that the bank uses to charge you interest, not the 7%. Every time. It's this amount. It's this amount every month. So they're going to take this and multiply it by $200,000. That's the original amount. So we're going to multiply it by 200,000. And that's how they come up with the first interest payment equals $1,166.67 because we have 3 sixes here. So we have to round this 6 up to a 7. Here it is, $1,166.67. That's how they do it. So whatever number they see at the end of the month, that's the number they multiply by 1/12 of the interest rate to come up with the new interest payment. Because once you make a payment here, you don't owe 200,000, you owe this. Okay? You owe $199,836.07. So if we do that again, take our 7%, divide it by 12 again, take this number and divide it and multiply it by the new principal balance of $199,836.07 equals, did I do that wrong? I certainly did. 7. Okay. All right. I get excited and I hit too many buttons. All right. Divided by 12. Okay. Equals that. And we're going to multiply it by 199,836.07. There we go. Equals 1,165.71. And there it is right here. 1,165.71. That's how they do that. That's how they, oh my goodness, Steve, happy anniversary on Clubhouse to you this morning, sir. Happy anniversary to you. He says he wants to come up to the stage and talk about it. Good morning, sir.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing well, sir. Thank you very much for being here. We're trying to help these real estate investors make more money.
All right, let's do it. Happy anniversary to you too.
I'll take it. All right. So, folks, we just went over how to make this kind of money. We just went over how the bank makes their money every single month. But if they take 1/12 of the interest rate and multiply it by the balance that they see, all you have to do is control what they see. Control what they see and you control what they get. Please come to the stage and so that you can make money here today. Come to the stage, raise your hand so that you can start learning and inviting other people to the room. So listen, just because Steve came to the stage, more people are coming in. So we're going to listen. We're going to start inviting William up. All right. Thank you, William, for coming to the stage. We appreciate you. How are you doing this morning?
I'm blessed and highly favored.
What do you think of this information so far?
I'm loving it, man. I bought several of your books and gave them to my kids about a year and a half ago.
Listen, man, thank you so very much for that. We do appreciate it. All right. So now let's get back. Do you have a question or another comment?
No, I just wanted to ask or make reference to the fact that in many of my loans, historically, I would pay them, just arbitrarily pay advance interest. I didn't have a code of how much or so forth, but whatever I had to spare. Maybe it was $300 or $500, even toward my mortgage. So I paid my mortgage on my primary home off in like maybe 8 years when it was you know, a much longer loan. But I paid it this month. I had $500. Next month I might have had $200, $700, whatever. I just arbitrarily paid it and applied it toward interest. So what you're saying does work. I just don't have the formula like you do.
Well, listen, we're going to get into how we can optimize this in a minute, but we've got to go over the basics first so people can actually see how it works. Anybody else that wants to come to the stage, please do. All right. So let's jump back in. All right. So we just went over how the bank makes their money, but we're going to go over controlling what they see. All right. So if we know this, the $2,031.55, that's all 12 principal payments added up. Let's just ask this question. If I know that I've got to pay that, is it possible that if I have the money, I can pay it all at once instead of 12 monthly installments? You see, when I owe $200,000 on this mortgage, 200,000, I owe $200,000, all right? And I subtract the $2,031.55 that we paid towards principal, subtract that, $2,031.55 equals $197,968.45. That's exactly what we see here on line 12. If you're new to the room, I have a link to my YouTube channel in the chat. Go there and you can get the link or go on YouTube on a separate device. So you can hear us on Clubhouse or go to a separate device. And then you can go to YouTube and search for P.I.L.L method, P as in Paul, I-L-L method, P.I.L.L method. And you'll see our live broadcast and you can see these numbers. Okay. So come on. Listen, I'd like to get some more people on the stage. Thank you, everybody, for being here this morning. But let's get into, if you're a real estate investor, let's stop ignoring this. So we're going to put this $2,000 on the debt all at once instead of in 12 monthly installments. That means we're paid down to here in 1 month. So now the next number that the bank sees, they first saw the 200,000. We gave this money on top of our regular payment. So we're paid all the way down to line 12 on our amortization schedule in 1 month. So what just happened? We're going to take our 7% again, divided by 12, and multiply it by this new number, because this is where we are now. We're not here for for payment number 2. We are here, $197,968.45. So we're going to multiply it by 968.45 equals $1,154.81.815. So that means we have to round that one up to a 2 because 82. That's this number right here on line 12. $1,154.82. I don't care what the other real estate investors are trying to tell you, because they've learned it from other investors who taught them incorrectly. When you put this much money down as a prepayment, you skip all the way down to here to line 13 on your amortization schedule, and you skip all the interest payments between line 2 and line 12. That's over $12,000 in interest savings right there. To give them the same amount of money, but you choose when to give it to them. You don't have to pay all of that interest. Does that make sense to everybody? Does that make sense to you? If you have a question about it, come to the stage and ask your question. If you're watching us online, go ahead and put it in the chat in the comment section, and we'll handle that. Okay. So now that you understand the basics, let's get into what we can do even if you have multiple properties, because putting the right amount of money at the right time on the right loan matters to how much interest you can save to get your equity cheaper and faster. So let's bring up, let me show you how many mortgages we have in this thing. I'm going to go to the accounts page and show you how many mortgages we have in here. Okay. So right now we have, we start out at mortgage number 10, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and a HELOC. So it's actually 10 first mortgages and 1 second mortgage. Okay. So a total of 11. So that's how much money we owe money on all of these. And if we want to see quickly how much do we owe in total, okay, how much do we owe in total? Principal remaining $2,947,500. That's how much we owe on the property. This program adds it up immediately. Now, how much interest do we owe on this property? We can see that the interest remaining that we have to pay is $1,165,030. That's how much interest that they will pay on this, but that's not how much interest they owe. We add these two numbers. Here's the potential interest savings, $1,372,972 over here. Here's what the bank wants: this amount and this amount. That's what they want. But they're not going to get all of that. Folks, that's $3 million in interest. $3 million in interest they want, okay, on principal remaining. They want $3 million interest. This is practically $3 million in debt, $2,947,000, but they want $3 million in interest. They want more in interest than this real estate investor has in actual debt. How is that right? Now, is this real estate investor making money? Did they buy the houses right? Yes, they did. Did they fix them up right? Yes, they did. Are they renting the houses right? Yes, they are. And are they cash flowing on each and every one? Yes, they are. But still, the bank wants them to pay $3 million in interest on this, and they don't have to. Let me give you an example of what this is. So listen, go to YouTube, make sure you see this, because this is going to be important. So we're going to take a look at how this program optimizes interest savings. All right. So let's just say we're starting out in October. Here are the rent checks coming in, $15,000 a month. All right. And if you want to take a look at what they're doing here, their budget is $21,000, right? 21,000 income, $21,583 total income. Monthly expenses, $18,000. And here is their average discretionary, or this is what they have after all the bills are paid. So they're cash flowing $3,000 a month here. Okay, cash flowing $3,000 a month. So what are they doing? So the program says here, they're going to tell the program that they received their $15,000 in rental checks, and they're going to put a little bit in savings, because the program says put some in savings, and they're going to start paying these mortgages. So pay the mortgage here, pay this mortgage, pay this mortgage, pay this mortgage, pay some auto insurance, put a minimum payment on the HELOC, buy some food, pay mortgage 5, pay mortgage 9, okay, and pay mortgage 7 and 10. So they paid all the mortgages, okay, and put a little money away for some enjoyment here, this $1,000. All right. So now All we did this month was pay the minimums on the mortgage and put some money away. That's what we did. So I'm going to accelerate month one and just take a shortcut and just tell the program we just did all that. So I'm going to select the entire month, execute multiples, and we're going to get rid of the whole month of October as if we did it, day by day. Okay? Just to save time. So October is gone. And so now we're going to take a look at November and see what we have to do. So we're getting our rent check in here in November, but the program says now, well, let's take some money out of savings that we've been saving up some money. Let's pay off the Visa. Let's pay the HELOC to zero. And let's put $1,935.49 in principal payment on mortgage number 9. This is extra principal on mortgage number 9. Out of all the first mortgages, this program says put only $1,935.49. Stop at the 49 cents because this is an optimized number. Stop right there and place that on mortgage number 9 out of all the mortgages. Let's see why. When we execute that, we can see that if we put an extra $1,935.49 on this mortgage, let me make this bigger so you can actually see this thing. This is how much interest we just saved. $23,129. What this actually means, if this real estate investor had ignored what they've been taught for years and just made the minimum payment on the mortgage because people are giving them money to pay the mortgages with, by the time they pay this mortgage down by $1,935.49, they would have also given the bank $23,000 in interest to do it. But by choosing to pay the bank at a time that benefits the real estate investor, giving them an extra $1,935.49 out of monies that were left over after all the bills were paid, it saves them the 23 grand. My goodness. What do y'all think about that? Let me see if I got any questions here. All right. Becca says she's going to check. Empress Becca says she's going to check us out on YouTube. All right. Thank you for that. Do I have any questions? Do I have any real estate investors in here? Do I have any questions or any comments? Even if you're not a real estate investor, do you have any questions or comments about what you've just learned so far? Okay. Because it is important to know what's going on. So let's see what the program says to do next. Okay. So we're in November. We're going to do exactly what the program says here. We're going to select the entire month of November. All right. I'm not going to do it line by line. That would just take too long. So we're going to execute a multiple again. All right. And take care. Let me make this smaller again so you guys can see what I'm doing. All right. And we're going to take care of the entire month of November and see what the program says. All right. When is the next time the program wants to put money on debt? So it says here, if we do this right by February 1st of next year, the program you'll be able to save up $12,433 that you could put on debt in February. This we can only see. Okay. So here, we're putting it on mortgage number 9 again. Mortgage number 9. Now, I need to show you this. We have a total out of the potential interest savings of $1,861,472. We already have $29,774 in actual interest saved already. But we have equity in our properties that we didn't have to pay $29,000 for. Okay. So now the program says we're going to start saving up money again. put money in savings here in December, put some more money away here in January, put some more money away in savings, but we're just making the minimum payments on the debt here in January. And then in February, we're going to put some more money in savings and then take a little bit of money out of savings and put it on mortgage number 9 again. And when we do that, ladies and gentlemen, look what happens here. We're going to save an additional $123,249 in interest because we're following a program where we can get $12,000 in equity and not have to pay the bank $123,249 to get it. So that's a lot of extra money. 123,000, and that's just in a couple months. Okay, so we have over $150,000 in interest savings over a 3-month span already, just getting started in this thing. Now, here's what I want to point out. Even though that we're paying more money in interest than we need to, here is the big deal. The money, that extra money that you're paying in interest that you don't have to, that's money you could have invested in other properties. In just 3 months, we will save over, just a few months, we're going to save over $150,000 in interest that they'll never have, that this real estate investor never has to pay. But if they had done what they've done previously and listened to other gurus who teach this, it would have cost them an extra $150,000. And when you pay that money, you can't also invest it. Somebody just raised their hand. What happened? I thought somebody raised their hand. Okay, maybe they didn't. All right. If you raise your hand, I missed it. Raise your hand again, and I'll bring you up. Okay. So that $150,000, they can't pay it in interest and also invest it. Let me give you an idea of how much money can be made through investing money you're no longer giving the bank. So if we go to our reports here and go down to net worth, we're going to click on net worth. Okay, and bring up net worth. Let it load. When we have more mortgages in, it takes longer. And now we're going to take a look at wealth accumulation. Okay. By investing that money that we're no longer, today, we're in 2023. By 2043, in 20 years, we could have, and by not giving that money to the bank, we could have an extra $114,000 in another investment by that time. By the next year, it grows to 363,000. Then the next year after that, 633,000. The next year after that, 927,000. And within 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, this is over $1 million worth of more money, $1 million that we could gain by investing the money that we're no longer giving to the bank. And by the time we would have paid off all of this debt, normally doing it the old way would have been 2073 by the time we got done paying all of this debt the old way. But by 2073, this real estate investor can have an extra $26,214,950 just for not giving the bank all that interest money. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's not just enough. It is not enough. It is not enough just to save the interest, but you have to know what it's really costing you in the long run when you pay all that extra interest, they're robbing your the, they're robbing the inheritance from your families. $26 million extra that they could have had, but no, we paid extra interest instead. And this is on top of the monies that they've earned through renting these properties out over those years. This is on top of that. This is money that they could have, that this investor would have missed if he had not started paying attention to interest cost and how to minimize interest cost. So folks, listen, today is going to be a short day. All right. We're getting ready to go on vacation, but I wanted to share this with you today. I wanted to share this and help you to understand what real estate investors are going through. All right. So if you have a question, now's the time to do it. Now's the time to put your question in or come to the stage and let's talk about what we just learned today, because we're going to cut it short today, going on vacation. And we're usually here on Fridays and then Sundays, but we're going to be gone until I'm coming back on, let me pull up my calendar, coming back from vacation on the 27th. So next Wednesday, we'll have a show. But this Friday will be, next Wednesday will be a live show. This Friday will be a replay. This coming Sunday, the 24th, will be a replay. Merry Christmas to you all, okay? And we are coming back, and we're going to end the year. You know what? I think we should do on the 31st. That's New Year's Eve. On the 31st, we're going to do a special show. On the 31st, that's Sunday the 31st. Here's the special show we're going to do. How all of this stuff got started. The history of the amortized mortgage and how it got started and who's benefiting from it and how we as consumers enter into the process. And I'm telling you, we're going to find out that this thing makes so much doggone money and that it was never intended for us to be educated on the process. I'm going to share with you the whole history on this thing on December 31st on our show on Sunday. And we're going to be in the Mortgage Syndicate that morning at 8:30 a.m. Central Time, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time live. We're going to go through the entire history of how all of this got started. The FHA, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, all of that. All right. The Great Depression. We're going to cover how mortgages used to work before 1936 and how mortgages actually work now after 1936 and how it has taken money out of our households to the point where it should be regarded as financial violence. So we're going to show you the history here for real estate investors, for consumers. We're going to be going over all of that. All right. Thank you, Miss Ashley. We're going to go over that so that you can know the truth about all of this, so that you can use your money. Now, as a residential home buyer, do you realize you can save so much money in interest? So much money in interest. Let me get this off the screen here. We can save so much money in interest that everyday folks can become millionaires. Yes, I'm going to go over that as well. You can become millionaires. I'm going to show you the history, and I'm showing you how we have been bamboozled since 1936 on this thing, where we could have paid mortgages off in 7 years instead of 30 years. Not just our mortgages, but the mortgages, the student loans, the credit cards, the car loans, everything in 7 to 9 years on average, instead of how we're doing it now and giving the banks way too much money. And when you give them that money, you can't also invest that money in your family's future. Your family, you should have a family bank. We make so much doggone money here in the US, but we have to spend so much just to live. We're going to show you how you can buy more with less. On Sunday the 31st, when I show you the entire history of this thing, you don't want to miss that show. All right. So now, here's what I want to share with you. If you've learned something today and you want to know more about the P.I.L.L method and you want to know how it could benefit you, I'm going to pin my link to the top. ice10k.com. All right. It's scrolling across the bottom of the screen here on YouTube. You can go to ice10k.com and get a savings report. Let me put that on the screen for you. And we'll go over that. ICE. All right, there we go. And we're going to put that back on the screen here. All right, there we are. So we're putting it back on the screen. So we got ICE. And so there we go. And if you scroll down just a little bit under Dr. Eric Thomas's picture, okay, you'll see get a savings and earnings report. When you click on that, here's how you get your savings and earnings report. Stop giving all your money to the bank, whether you're a real estate investor or a residential homeowner. Stop giving your money away. Stop it. You can get a free savings report and you can know the month, day, and year you could be debt free and how much interest you don't have to give the bank. And we'll take that information and do a projection for you and show you how much money you could earn for your family by not giving that money to the bank. So that's why we call it a savings and an earnings report. If you want that for free, do this two-step process and fill this out. Go to ice10k.com and click on get a savings and earnings report, and you can get this for free. Follow the instructions and you'll be just fine. It's 2 steps, okay? The next thing you want to know is this. We're going to go back and down here, this Thursday, tomorrow night, we're going to have an affiliate training. Okay, we're going to have an affiliate training. Go down here and click on affiliate. And if you get this in early enough, we can get you the information on how to sign up to become an affiliate. Okay, sign up to become an affiliate, and then you can register for the class. You can register for the class. Let me see if I can get a registration link here for you guys. I can put this in the chat as well. Let me go over here and see if I can find a registration link for you. All right. And all right, where's my registration link? Okay, let me check here. Registration link. Let me do a search. Let me see if I can find it easier if I do a search. Okay, because I have a team that takes care of this for me. Okay, here we go. All right. And okay, let me see if this is the link. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Copy that. We're going to put that in. We're going to put that in the chat. Okay, we're going to paste it there, and I'm going to send it out to you guys here on YouTube as well. Okay, once you become, it takes about 15 seconds to become an affiliate. Then you can register for the affiliate training, which is going to be tomorrow. So click on that link, all right, and register for that. Let me go ahead and put this in the comment section online as well. There we go. And we're going to paste it there, and there it is. All right. So get that link. It's for affiliates only, and to become an affiliate is free, but register for the class for affiliate training. You can make, something happened. It says, wait for a minute and try it again. Let me try this again. We had a problem with putting that link in. Okay, well, maybe this time it worked. Okay, so you can make between $300 and $3,000 a month as a P.I.L.L method affiliate. We're going to go over how that can be done, and there's no selling involved. No selling involved, and we're going to go over tomorrow night. We're going to go over this tomorrow night, and it starts at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. All right. And we got the times wrong. It says 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It's actually 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. 7:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern. And then we're going to take care of that for you, okay? We're going to get you in there, and we're going to teach you how you can make between $300 and $3,000 a month as an affiliate. Why is that important? It is important because the information that you're going to be receiving is showing people how not to be taken advantage of, how we have been suffering under financial violence all these years and not even realizing it. And now you can help others to do this. And I can't do it all by myself. I need your help as affiliates to get the message out and to get people watching the YouTube channel. As more people watch the YouTube channel, more people will learn how not to give all their money to the bank and how they can take that money, continue, they can buy their education, buy their house, buy their car, do everything they need to do, but stop giving that extra money in interest to the banks and invest that for themselves. Listen, you can, and they can, you can become a family bank and have millions of dollars by the time you're ready to retire. Why? Because you didn't take 30 or 40 or 50 years to try to pay off a mortgage. You did it in 7. And maybe once you did that, you decided, I want to get another house and put a renter in this one and make even more money. Do you know we have people on our program that are paying off their 3rd and 4th houses now? Okay. So they've been in the program that long, and they've got renters in those houses that they paid off, and they're growing their net worth exponentially. Oh my gosh, this is something you'll be able to do and help others do. So I hope to see you there. Let me put this link in here so you can see what it looks like. We're going to add that link here. Paste and go. And that's what the affiliate link looks like. So once you go there, register now for this exclusive training to learn the super affiliate secrets needed to up-level your earning potential in 2024. All right. So do that. Register for it today. All right. The class is tomorrow. Look, this is 1 day, 11 hours. It's ticking away. Okay. For the affiliate training. Okay. So let's go back here. Once you become an affiliate, register for the training. Also, let me go here. ICE. All right, there we go. Also, this is a link to the book, to the P.I.L.L Method book. This will help you to understand more about what we're doing and why we are doing it. So get the book today. All right. And also, that's it for today. We're going to listen to Dr. Eric Thomas, and he's going to tell us why he used the pill method to pay off his mortgage and make his wife so much happier. So three or four things. All right. Become an affiliate. Get the affiliate training, which is tomorrow night. All right. Also, get the book. And the fourth thing is get a savings and earnings report. And you can get all that from the 10K card, except for the affiliate training. Okay. So I put that in the chat so that you have the link to get the affiliate training. I want to thank everybody for being with us here for this entire year of 2023. 2023 is almost gone. And I want to thank you for supporting us. You have helped us to grow our viewership on YouTube, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Facebook. All right. You've helped us to reach hundreds of thousands of people all over the world because you have joined our social media and you've shared our information, and we thank you. You've also not only joined us and shared the information, some of you have actually even become clients and are getting a firsthand look at what we're doing and how you're benefiting from all this information directly. And we thank you for supporting us that way as well. So as we wind down the year, right, we only have a couple of live shows left. Start sharing this information with others so they can know. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, so we're going to remove this. Okay. We're going to go back here. All right. And we're getting ready to get out of here for today. I don't see any other questions. All right. I don't see any other hands raised. So that's it for today. Thank you so much. It's a short show, but we'll see you next week. And then don't forget the special show on the last day of the year. The last day of the year, our special New Year's Eve edition on the history of mortgages and financial violence in the U.S. Oh my goodness. I think you're going to love it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear from Dr. Eric Thomas. See what he has to say as we say goodbye to you. All right. See you later now. Merry Christmas. If I don't see you before that, Merry Christmas and have a happy new year. All right. Here we go.
Listen to me, y'all. But one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.
All right, everybody. Thank you very much for being here. We're going to end this room in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. See you next week.